Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Eithne. Welcome back if you've been here before, if not, welcome too. So today's video, I'm actually in St James's Park in the centre of London. I had a bit of time between classes, between teaching, so I thought why not get on my mat. I've got all my equipment with me, so yeah, we're being al fresco. So if you can practice outside, why not join me as well, get the real experience. So let's start. We're going to come into kind of a sequence for your legs, into your hamstrings today, and just finding your way firstly into your tabletop position. So you're going to spread your hands wide, stack your hips on your knees, shoulders over the wrists, and then just start to move into your body. So obviously, depending on kind of the time of the day that you're watching this, if it's early in the morning, you might be feeling a little bit of heaviness or a little bit of sleepiness. Or if we're somewhere in the middle of the day, it might be warm, or in the evening, you've kind of got a bit of fatigue. So just kind of taking what you need with your flow, leaving what you don't today, and just using this as a little bit of exploration coming into the body. And then start to take these movements round the other way, kind of dipping through and rounding through your back. Start to feel into all of the little nooks and crannies and feeling any pops or clicks as we go. We're going to take 2 more breaths. Find your way into stillness. Take a big step of your right foot forwards to the outside edge of your right hand. Now we're going to carry on those little circles, but now starting to get into your right hip and into that left hip flexor. And you can roll over to the side edge of the right foot, maybe straightening and rebending into that knee, but just kind of moving around into this space. If it feels a little bit too much, you can always place your hands onto bricks as well. So bringing the ground up towards you rather than needing to kind of force any space too quickly in the body today. Good. Get a little wiggle. And then pause, find stillness. Let's draw everything forward. Start to tuck the left back toes, lift the knee, and rock that weight forwards and backwards. Now thinking about your wrists, so that we can start to kind of build up a little bit of support and strength through the wrists, I want you to grip your fingers into the ground below and start to switch on kind of all of those integral kind of muscles and support areas into the hands. Keeping your neck supported, neck nice and long. Take 1 more inhale. And exhale, come to find stillness. Good, we're going to sweep this right arm high. Easy twist. Lift and lengthen your fingertips high to the sky. Good, soften into the pelvis just a little bit further whilst maintaining that structure and intensity into the back, lifted left knee. Good, 1 more inhale. And exhale, dropping that right hand down. Place the left knee down. Let's step back and take that all on the left side. Big step with the left foot forwards and then circle round into that space. It's definitely stiffer on my left side this morning. Doesn't really matter kind of how big this feels to start with, but we can increase the kind of the depth of the circumference each time. And if there's any parts that feel really quite nice, feel free to kind of drop and sink into that space. If we haven't done already, switching the movements around the other way. Good, find your way to stillness, tuck the back toes, lift the knee. And then keeping that neck long. I know it's really tempting to look down towards kind of our back foot, but we're then collapsing and taking a little bit of a rounding through the chest. So really think about drawing that neck long and then rocking that weight forwards and backwards, again, gripping the mat with your fingertips as we build up just a little bit of strength through the forearms, through the shoulders, as well as opening up through the lower half of the body. 2 more breaths. Nice, let's press pause. Really think about kicking that right leg behind you. Easy twist, left arm peeling high. Lift the gaze. You might even start to open up your chest just slightly here, but not kind of forcing too much. Just creating this real lift and openness through the chest. Take 1 more inhale. And exhale, left hand down. Step it straight back into your downward facing dog pose. Please, my lovelies. Good, and then start to wake up a little bit further through the Achilles tendon, just pedaling through the feet, bending into one knee, bending into the other, and getting this real kind of like sway of your hips from side to side. If it feels good to do so, lifting up one leg. I always like to click my toes here, so if you like to click your toes, maybe it's the time to do that as well. And then starting to find our grounding sensations, taking the feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Press down actively between your thumb and index finger. Soften into your knees just slightly. Press your chest backwards, lifting the tailbone high. Now from here, my lovelies, you want to make sure we're not collapsing through the front of the chest. Can you draw your rib cage flush and feel your abdominals start to switch on? Locking through the bandhas, your pelvic floor, your mula bandha, your Uddiyana bandha, thinking about drawing the belly button up towards the spine, and then coming up to your throat, your Jalahandhara bandha, so your tongue pressing to the roof of the mouth, initiating our Ujjayi breath, that softening and kind of calming, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, creating heat through your body. One more inhale here. And an exhale, start to bend the knees, look forward to your hands, baby step your way up to the top of the mat, coming into our ragdoll position. So you're going to take the feet just over hip width apart, soften into your knees, grab opposite hand, opposite elbow, and really allow yourself to get heavy here, melting over, or kind of hinging from the waist. So not needing to force, not needing to pull, just getting this sense of kind of lengthening through the back of the legs as we kind of drop through the top half. One more inhale. Big exhale. Good. Release the fingertips down to the ground. Take a deep bend into your left knee. Again, your hand can come onto a brick or left fingertips. We're going to peel and reach the right arm high as you lift up through the right kneecap and open up through the top of the chest. So like we did with our easy twist, but now we're just starting to get a little bit deeper through the legs and expansive through the chest. If this feels like enough, stay. If you're ready for more, you're going to pivot this right hand around, drop the right hand towards the back of the left hip, and see if you can slot your fingers to the crease of the thigh. Good. Inhaling to create space wherever we are. And exhale to rotate a little bit deeper through the chest. One more inhale. And exhale, take it round to the side. So bending into that right knee, right fingertips down or onto your brick. Left arm sweeping high as we open up the chest. Good. Pressing pause or pivoting that hand, sliding the left hand down to that inner seam of the right thigh. Now I want you to imagine this left shoulder blade is drawing down and back of the rib cage as we expand a little bit further through the collarbones at the front of the body. Making sure that you keep awareness into your breathing. We're not kind of forcing space, never forcing, always just kind of exploring. One more inhale. And exhale, fold all the way over the legs. Good. Bend your knees tucked into chest and slowly unravel vertebrae by vertebrae, coming all the way up to standing, and your chin and your head is that last thing that's going to lift. Good. Shake out the legs, shake out the arms. See if you can loosen any little bit of tension. And you're going to stand at the top of your mat, big toes touching, palms facing the front, and just relax the shoulders down. We found our way to Tadasana mountain pose. Good. Take a big inhale. Big clearing exhale. Nice inhale. Reach the arms high. Lift the gaze. Extend all the way up towards your fingertips. As you exhale, shift your weight a little bit forwards into your toes as we take a lengthening down into our Uttanasana forward fold. Inhaling, halfway rise, flatten out the back. As you exhale, big step back with that right foot. Press pause, land here. We're going to shuffle that left foot all the way out towards the left side of the mat. Sink your pelvis a little bit deeper and then walk your hands forwards as well as pressing that right heel back and away. So we're just taking it a little bit of a deeper stretch into kind of the front of the right hip and the back of the left. Keep the neck nice and soft, your jaw relaxing. Take 2 more breaths. Calmly walk the hands back underneath your shoulders, round through the upper back, a little protraction through the shoulder blades, and then stepping lightly that left foot back to meet the right. Good, drop down knees, untuck the toes, bend elbows, belly landing all the way down to ground. Bhujangasana. Space. And exhale to tuck the toes, send your bum towards your heels. Rise when you feel ready back into your downward facing dog. And there is no rush on that. Good, grounding down the heels. Lift up through the tailbone, perhaps coming into stillness a little bit quicker now. Again, that drawing of the rib cage in, and then wrap your armpits in towards each other as if they're having a conversation, getting some external rotation through the top of the arms. One more breath. As you exhale, bring the left foot into the center of the mat. Sweep right leg all the way high to the sky. Keep rolling that right hip down. So we're not opening through the kind of pelvis just yet. Keep everything squaring off. One more inhale. As you exhale, curl that right knee to the right upper tricep. Step the foot to the outside edge of your hand. Good, melt that left leg a little bit further away. And then walking the hands forwards, coming into that real low lunge onto the right side. If this does feel too intense, we can always drop down that back knee. But I want to start to fire up the legs, fire up the body, and create some heat as we kind of find a little bit more space now. Good, one more inhale. As you exhale, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Take a big step of your left foot forwards to the top of the mat. Good, inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, shuffle the feet together, big toes touching, bend knees, tuck your chin to chest, and gently unravel all the way up through the vertebrae. Once again, standing to rise. Inhale, sweep the arms high, lift the gaze. And exhale, folding all the way back down over the legs. Inhaling, halfway lift. As you exhale, big step with that left foot back. This time we're going to drop the back knee, untuck the toes, and start to straighten up your right front leg, coming into our Ardha Hanumanasana, that half splits pose. Now from here, my lovelies, again, bricks underneath your hands, and we're going to take a little bit more attention into the lower back. So instead of rounding and kind of really thinking about dropping our head to our knee, everybody actually take your hands to your hips, and you're going to tilt your hip bones backwards. It's called a posterior tilt of your hips, and lengthen the chest forwards. So there's a massive difference in kind of the the sensation in this stretch. When we have a little tuck here and we're reaching the arms forwards, I definitely feel kind of more of a pulling into my back. Whereas we want to kind of target all the way high up into the back of the hamstrings, all four of them, by shifting the hips. Again, drawing the toes back towards your face and lengthening the chest forwards. And as somebody that can kind of, or has quite flexible hamstrings, I tell you, this is intense. So it should feel a little bit stronger than perhaps you usually have. Good, really lift up the kneecap. Keep the breath steady and smooth. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, re-bend into your right front knee. Move any props out of the way, frame the foot. Tuck the left toes, lift the knee, step lightly back into your high plank, taking it through our full chaturanga this time. So you've always got the option to drop down the knees, or if you're coming with me, exhale to lower. Point the toes, sweep the heart space forwards, coming into our upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And as you exhale, stepping or rolling over the feet, lifting you back into your Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a breath here, a little sway of the head, perhaps releasing into your face. Nice, right foot stepping into the center of the mat, big sweep of that left leg high. Keep the hips steady. Good, long through the fingertips and almost pressing away from the ground. Curl that left knee to nose. Step lightly in between the hands, drop the back knee, untuck the toes, shift your hips back. That Ardha Hanumanasana, our half splits pose, or monkey god splits pose on the left side. So just have a little check-in. What's your pelvis saying? Does it feel like we're tucking the hip bones under? We're kind of creating this really big doming sensation through the back. Or are we sliding the hands up to the hips? Definitely make sure you're steady before you do this. Tilting the pelvis back, and you could even use your hands to forcibly find that tilting action. Lengthening up and over. And then if there's anything, if it feels a little bit too strong, soften into the knee, but making sure we've got that quad really switched on and engaged. I'm nearly falling over. Good. Draw the toes back towards you. 3 long breaths. Creating a little bit more space each time in the heart opening. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Rebend into that left front knee, plant the palms, tuck the back toes, lift it up. Step lightly back, high plank position, we take a little flow, or you can always go straight back into your downward facing dog if perhaps you're not feeling a million chaturangas this morning. A million? I feel like that's number 2. Good, take it back into your downward facing dog. I didn't exaggerate at all, I promise. Good. Take 3 breaths in our downward facing dog. Feel the grounding, the rooting through the hands, through the feet. That elevation through the back body. And again, that slight little tilt of the pelvis to lengthen and ground a little bit deeper through the heels. One more inhale. Big exhale. I can see all the little geese underneath me there. Bring the big toes to touch, please, my lovelies. Inhale to sweep your right leg high. This time, you're going to start to stack that right hip on top of the left and really open out the side body. Grounding down that left heel, so it's almost like taking a big expansion through the side waist. Good, making sure that we're not kind of collapsing down into the arms. Keep the rib cage drawing in, but open up into this left kind of inner seam of the groin. Start to square off the body. Draw that right knee in towards your nose. Step the foot lightly between the hands. Find your way into your pyramid pose. So you're going to straighten up both legs, but keep this back heel lifted as we draw long through the chest. And again, props. This is fantastic to take bricks underneath your hands. Good. Lift up the kneecaps. Draw long through the spine. And exhale to fold. Like a wave, roll the breath. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Good. So the breath is definitely the guide rather than the response here. One more time. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, folding and holding. Good. Now, if you're warmed up a little bit more and your hands are on the bricks, perhaps take them down to the medium height, maybe even to the low height. Or if we're on our fingertips, lightly seeing if we can place the hands down. So it's not not to bring too much too quickly, but just finding a little bit more sensation here, not forcing. Good, roll that right hip back, draw the left one forwards, take one more breath. Nice, rebend into that right front knee. Please, my lovely yogis, we're going to sweep the right leg all the way up and back. Come into your split dog, bend the knees, squeeze your heel to your bum, and now stacking that right hip on top of the left like we did with the leg extended. But I want us to keep the body a little bit more square here. So using the abductors, the muscles that draw the leg away from the midline to switch on as we roll that right armpit down and create a little bit more, length from the fingertips up towards this back right toe. One more breath. As you exhale, curl lightly that knee to nose, step in between the hands, come up to your fingertips. We're going to shift all of the weight forwards into this right foot and start to kick and extend that left leg behind us, coming into our Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. So in English, that's our standing splits pose. Now, just because we hear the word splits doesn't mean that the leg has to be lifted all the way up high to the sky. Again, bricks underneath the hands, creating a length through the chest and a switching on of your gluteus maximus in the left butt cheek to really get a deeper extension. Just double check in with that leg. Is the foot floppy? Is the leg floppy? Or can we really think about extending the leg further behind you? Good, breath steady. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, step all the way back, reach the arms high, high lunge, open out, warrior two, grounding down that left heel, reach your fingertips long, and then taking your gaze over your right front fingertips. Can we create a little bit more space through the feet, even bending deeper into this right knee and really opening up through the hips? Good, one more inhale. As you exhale, straighten up the front leg. Reach the right arm forwards, Trikonasana, our triangle pose. Reach, 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 reach. Now, when you can reach no more, just the arms are going to move. So there's a real temptation here to almost like take the hand all the way down to the ground, but notice how much further forward my shoulders are to my hips. What we want to do is keep the kind of switching on through your obliques, the side body, and take a big old stretch, keeping the shoulders and hips in one long line. So working into our psoas muscle, which is this big muscle from kind of from your spine round towards kind of the front of the hip. Good, are we still breathing? Take one more inhale. As you exhale, reach the left arm high, come back into your warrior two. Flip the front palm up and open, your exalted warrior. Left hand drawing down that right leg, sweeping the right fingertips a little bit further away from you. Take one more breath. And exhale, cartwheel the hands, framing that right foot, pivot to the back toes. Drop the knee, untuck, shift the hips back, coming into our Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. So if this feels like enough, my lovely yogis, please feel free to stay here. If we're going to go a little bit further into our full splits, you're going to tuck the back left toes. Take your hands onto blocks if you need to, and then actively send the feet one away from each other. Ooh, it's hard on bumpy ground. See if we can keep the hips forwards, lengthening the chest high. If you need to, you can always place a brick underneath this front right leg, or maybe underneath kind of the pelvis. And take a little moment, kind of breathe into this space, but really thinking about drawing everything in. So it's not a passive kind of release and hold. I want you to switch on through that pelvic floor once again, and imagine we're dragging the legs in towards each other. Good, all that while breathing. Take one more inhale. Big exhale, hands come down to the mat, moving any bricks, and then as gracefully as you can, start to slide that right leg back in. We're going to step back and all meet in our downward facing dog. Have a little wiggle, move the hips, allow the kind of blood to flow back down into the feet. Taking all of that on the left side. Good, one more inhale. Big exhale. Big toes touch at the back of the mat, sweep the left leg high. Start to stack that left hip on top of the right, grounding down the right heel. And now that we're a little bit open through that right hamstring, perhaps we can create more space. Good, really thinking about stacking the hips. And there might be a slight little rotation through the upper body, but mainly seeing if we can ground down the weight evenly through both hands here. Not collapsing through the shoulders, really press the shoulders away from the ground. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, curl lightly that knee into nose. Step between your hands. You can always grab your ankle if it's kind of feeling a little bit stiff just now. Good, straighten up both legs, our pyramid pose, Purvottanasana. Keeping high onto the back right tippy toes. Lengthen up the chest. And I'm a bit sad I don't have my bricks actually with me because my left leg is definitely my toita leg. Good, drawing long through the chest. Can we find that tilting action through the pelvis? And exhale to fold. 2 more waves. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Last time. Folding and holding this time. So not kind of collapsing through this space. Keep drawing the chest long. Just taking perhaps a little bit more sensation into the hamstring, and that does not need to be a force. If it feels like a really tight pinching sensation, just kind of ease off a little bit. It should feel, I always think it just feels a bit annoying when I'm stretching. I'm like, oh, I rather wish I wasn't doing it, but I know that I'm doing some good. Good, take one more breath. Rebend into this left knee, plant the hands, sweep the front foot all the way up and back into your split dog. Squeeze the heel to your bum, stack that left hip on top of the right and open out through the lower half as we ground down, as well as through the top hands. Good, really to keep that intensity through the hamstring. Lifting up the left leg a little bit higher, one more inhale. As you exhale, curl your knee to nose. Step lightly in between the hands, rise, high lunge. Open out, warrior two. Taking the feet a little bit further apart. Bend deeper through that left knee. Getting this real kind of depth in the legs as we reach the fingertips long. Good, one more breath. Just double checking that the rib cage is stacked on top of the hips. As you exhale, straighten up both legs, zip up the kneecaps. As we exhale, reaching forwards, Trikonasana, fingertips down to the shin. Remember, keeping the shoulders and hips and head in one line as we reach tall through the right hand. And again, it should feel like the side body is really kind of working out here. So not in the sense of like needing to like really grip on, but we've definitely got support into this underside edge of the body. One more inhale. Use the reach of the right hand, draw you back up to warrior two, flip the palm up and back, exalted, breathing a little bit higher through that left rib cage. As you're ready, exhale, cartwheel the hands, frame the front left foot, drop the right knee, untuck the toes, shift the hip bones back, coming into our Ardha Hanuman. And then once again, staying with this space, or if we took it further on the first side, tucking the back right toes and then lengthening the front leg away from the left. Good, and just double checking that both hips, like headlights on a car, are facing the top of the mat. So regardless of whether you're kind of flush to the floor or not, again, that's squeezing in of the front left thigh to the back, creating a little bit of action into the lower half of the body. Good. Oh, I really need my bricks. I don't think I can carry bricks and all my books and all my things around. Maybe one day, get a bigger bag. Take one more inhale. And exhale, hands coming all the way down to the ground. Ease your way out. Take as much time as you need. And we're going to meet back into that downward facing dog. Good. Take 2 breaths. One more inhale. Good. Gently start to unravel your spine. Come forwards to your high plank. Let's take one flow and we're going to end up in our child's pose, please, yogis. Exhale to lower. Move with the breath. Peel and release into upper body. Good. Drop the knees. Send your bum towards your heels. Balasana, child's pose. Actually, let's take the knees a little bit wider, almost as wide as your mat, as you reach forwards and just melt or revolve from side to side. Good. Up. Time. The hands back to your knees. Let's roll over onto a bum cheek of your choice. Swing the legs forwards, finding your way into your butterfly pose. We've done enough for the legs. I mean, you can take your Paschimottanasana if you wish, but I'm just going to come into kind of a little bit of a yin posture. Let's move my microphone so it doesn't poke me in the belly. So taking your feet a little bit further forwards, we're taking this kind of diamond shape with the legs. You're going to release the back of the hands onto the soles of the feet. Curl your chin to chest and just forward fold here. And if you have your props or your bricks, you could take bricks underneath the knees or a cushion underneath your bottom. Just kind of folding into this space, relaxing the back of the neck, relaxing the jaw. Just settling kind of back down after a fairly fiery practice. I've definitely got a sweat moustache going on. Five long deep breaths here, just grounding through the sit bones, opening out the hips as we release into the neck and the upper body. Next inhale, starting to lift you all the way up to seated. Good. Draw the knees calmly in towards your chest. Shuffle your bum forwards. And then we're going to find our way onto our backs. Hug your knees in. Give yourself a really big squeeze here. Perhaps a little rock from side to side. And then taking your arms wide like a capital T shape, we're going to drop both knees over towards the right. Now, depending on kind of the flexibility or the openness of your hips, this left leg might be, oh, I've got sun in my eyes now. This left leg might be floating away from the right, or you're going to soften and just kind of let gravity do its thing here. So there's no need to push, no need to pull. Just kind of allow the weight of the body to do the work for you. If you want to take it further, we can always bind with that left leg on top of the right. And then finding kind of that deeper release through the spine. One more here. And then rolling back into center, uncrossing the legs if they were. Have a little wiggle in the middle. And then resetting the arms, dropping both knees over to the left. And maybe you actually take like 2 or 3 breaths before taking the bind with the legs. I always find a little softening first into this space kind of helps. I tell you, the anxiety is real right now about a bug crawling on my arms. Good, if we bound, let's cross that right leg over the top of the left. And gently drawing into center. Stretch the arms out behind you, the legs out in front, and take a real big stretch throughout the whole body. As you're ready, sinking into your Shavasana, perhaps the arms are going to stay up and over, or taking the back of the hands to the ground, palms high. So you just kind of feel yourself sinking into the earth. Almost a sensation of being weighed down, but weightless at the same time, like there's just no effort. Jaw relaxing, eyebrows unfurrowing, and the skin around your eyes just soft. For the next few minutes, just let yourself breathe here, and I'll let you know when we're coming out of this space. Feel free to stay here longer if you wish, or if you're starting to find your way out. Take a glorious, expansive breath. And a big sigh of relief. Small movements into your head, swaying from side to side. Wiggles to fingers to toes, and as you feel ready, stretching your arms out wide, extending the legs away. And then hugging your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself that ultimate kind of big squeeze and release. With as little effort as possible, finding your way up to your comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed just for now. Hands releasing to the knees, sitting up tall through the spine, chin bowing down to the chest. Placing the left hand onto the heart center, right hand on top. Just knowing that we're walking away from the practice today not with the kind of the postures, not with the poses, but with a greater sense of space created within the body. So often we kind of sink ourselves in. We don't want to kind of expand and be our best and kind of truest selves. But as we kind of peel back these layers and open up kind of the places of tension within the body, perhaps, we feel this greater sense of self. Bring the palms to touch, lift your thumbs just in between your eyebrows. Bowing forwards, honoring your time, dedication, and the practice of yoga this morning, or whenever you're watching this. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Jai. Thank you so much, lovely yogis. Hopefully your legs are feeling a little bit more open now. As always, if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment box below. I'll check them out every now and then. No saying when, but I will see them. My name's Eithne. If you want to practice with me any other classes, I've just popped 2 up here. We've got a power flow and also a fun vinyasa flow. Any questions, like I said, leave them below. If not, see you soon. Thank you so much.